Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 544, and today we're playing Backpack Battles. And so we're continuing on this 4-part introductory series of each of the classes within Backpack Battles. In the previous video, we touched on the Berserker, and today we're going to be playing the Reaper. And so the Reaper, to me, is very similar to the Warlock in the World of Warcraft. I keep calling it the Warlock because they're so similar, but it's not a combat-focused unit like we had out of the Berserker. It's much more interested in spell casting, if you will. And so the big mechanics that are going to be tied into the Reaper are the poison mechanic, which is a damage over time type of ability, and then the debuff type mechanic, which weakens your opponent by casting spells on them. And so to really kind of drive home the core ideas of the Warlock and that poison mechanic, you can check it out with the starting item and the Fly Agaric. This is a food-based item that inflicts 1 poison every 5 seconds. The poison dealing 1 damage per stack every 2 seconds, and so they get the stacking poison debuff, which deals damage over time. And then the storage coffin, the backpack for the Reaper, which says when an item inside activates, you have a 25% chance to inflict 1 poison. And so with these 2 items together, we don't need to hit the opponent, right? We don't need to punch him with a fist. We don't need to hit him with a sword. We don't need to poke him with the broom. We can just let the item sit within our coffin and activate over and over and over again and stack a bunch of poison up onto the opponent. It's going to be the kind of core mechanic that we see coming out of the Reaper. Here's another one. I keep getting stabbed. We got Pepper up here. Just whip Pepper up the screen. She's up here jabbing her feet into my leg, and so it's a little distracting, but I think we'll make it through. But nonetheless, as we talked about with the other champion, the Berserker, I think the core thing to really kind of come out and talk about the big build-around type thing as far as each class goes are going to be the subclass items. And so with the note of the storage coffin and the Fly Agaric, everything that we do is going to be centered on poison, and we do see that across a lot of the mechanics here. And so if we look at the Nocturnal Lock Lifter, this is a vampiric-based item, a lifesteal-based item, where typically you have to strike your opponent with a melee weapon to activate a lifesteal type of effect. This turns it so your poison now deals lifesteal, and so this really allows you to build up damage over time, in the sense that if you're thinking about how that Fly Agaric worked, right, it's going to put 1 poison onto the opponent every 5 seconds, and so after the 5-second mark we've done 1, at the 10-second mark they have 2, at the 15-second mark they have 3, at the 20-second mark, guess what, they have 4. And so we really need to build up that poison over time to be dealing damage to the opponent, and the lifesteal kind of effect does allow you to extend the battle so that you get more opportunities to drop those poisons. And so that's the kind of core idea with the Lock Lifter, is it extends the battle, giving you time to really build up those poisons and take your opponent down as you've had time to scale. In kind of a similar vein, there's the Snake. This is the pet mechanic coming out of the Reaper class. It gives you a small percentage chance to protect your poisons from being cleansed based on the number of luck that you have. At the start of the battle, you gain a little bit of luck and you gain a little bit of health, and then every 2.2 seconds you inflict 2 poison to your opponent. And so if you want to think in terms of that Fly Agaric only dealing 1 poison every 5 damage, this is almost 4 times faster, right? It's actually a little bit better than 4 times faster, right? It activates every 2.2 seconds and it inflicts 2 poison at a time. And so very big scaling in terms of what the Snake is capable of doing. Speaking to that land of extending out the battles, there is Mr. Struggles. He does every 3 seconds you inflict a fatigue damage. So if you remember hitting the 15-second mark and each player takes 1 damage, at the 16-second mark each player takes 2 damage, at the 17-second mark each player takes 3 damage, this allows that to scale up faster on your opponent. And so at the 15-second mark this will have activated 5 times. So at 15 seconds you take 1, but your opponent takes 6. And so this gives you a real incentive to come in and extend out the length of the battle. And then otherwise, when you get debuffed, you get the chance to reflect, and then when your health gets low, your items start activating faster. The last 2 items here, a little bit on theme with the Cauldron. This is a potion type build around. You could call it a food/potion since it does activate on food, but the big deal with the Cauldron is it does benefit you for getting potions. Typically, you buy the health potion, then you have to have the herb thing to upgrade it to the mega health potion. This allows you to just set the health health potion next to it and upgrade it for the next round. And so it's a very big monetary type value, if you will, if you're really going to chase after the potions. Otherwise, it has a minimal effect in terms of giving you heal, mana, and flame speed, whatever the whatever the little fires are called. You could look at it as a mana-based item as well, but to me, the Cauldron really deals towards potions. Last but not least, we have the Cursed Dagger. If you watched our previous video with the hammer and the stun daggers and the like, the Cursed Dagger really ties into that as well. So on stun, it gets to trigger an extra attack. So if the hammer strikes, the hammer gets the stun, the Cursed Dagger is going to hit, and then the Cursed Dagger will put debuffs onto the opponent and make your nearby items attack a little bit stronger. To me, though, the last thing that we really need to kind of come in and call out with the Reaper before we get into battle is going to be the Death Scythe. Let me move my face again. My face is just in the wrong place all the time today. But the Death Scythe is kind of like a mini subclass item, if you will, given that so much of the class is based on the poison mechanic. Having the Death Scythe around really hammers that ability home. Your starred items inflict double poison damage, and when the opponent reaches 35 poison, you get 50% critical hit chance. And so this is one of the big kind of meaty build around items we'll be looking for. In general, the Reaper isn't looking for combat items, right? You're not looking for swords. You're not looking for big axes to swing around. You're a mage, right? You're a caster. But the Death Scythe is the kind of common item that you're going to see amongst the build arounds for the Reaper, and it's worth noting that this big item stack of space is something that you're probably going to be looking for. And so that is the Reaper. Let's go ahead, get ourselves into a battle, see if we can't talk about them a little bit more within the game. And so, reasonable enough start here at the beginning. I'm always very happy to pick up these on sale bananas, and the bananas work fantastically with the Reaper as well, right? What we're going to be looking to do is just loading up the coffin with as many activating abilities as we can, and then that poison is going to be what kills our opponent. And so with this start that we have here, we can pick up these two foods. The foods are all going to activate our or I should say they're all going to synergize together to activate faster and faster, and then the coffin is going to get those bonus activations to actually kill our opponent. And so as this start goes, we don't currently have any attacky weapons, but we have a great way to still deal damage to our opponent. Now with this, I am going to go ahead and pick up the broom. One of the very common strategies these days as far as the Reaper goes is to start off with the shovel. That's going to be the broom along with the pan. And it just gives you, a bit of early game attack, a bit of consistent attack power, but also a bit of economy in the sense that the shovel generates an item every turn. And so you can either fill out your bags with that or sell the items or whatnot. It's just a very decent early game start. But in here, it looks like we've picked up another food. Happy to snatch that up. Let's rearrange everything to be a little bit happier in terms of everyone activating. And we'll jump on into battle. So we should be able to, let me see. We're going to be just a little bit short on getting everything in here. But we can still do something like this. I want our max activations to be on the fly agaric, right? I want to be inflicting those poisons as often as we can. All right, let's jump on in. Up against another one. Similar build from the opponent, right? But I think that we're just going to out-damage and outscale them. We have an additional food, so all of our stuff will be activating faster. We actually get the attacks out of the broom itself. Just a matter of time before finishing that one off. So good stuff. No real build around stuff here, but happy enough to pick up the early bag. We could snatch up the onion and then look to just pass, I think. Just preserve that gold until the next round. I am looking for some kind of like higher priced items in this space in the sense that I do like to have things like the stone armor. Right? If we're not going to be actually attacking with our units, then the stone armor is quite strong. This weakens your ability to be putting attacks down. But I think we can probably just take the onion and then save the money from that point. But we can rearrange here a little bit, get a bit of a more effective bag up and running. Shit. Get out of the... Quit doing stuff, game. Alright, so we can move the banana out to the side. I think that gives us one more. The banana's always kind of awkward in trying to get it to fit out here, but I think this is okay. We still have 3 on the... 3 on the fly agaric. Sure, let's just dive on in. Here's an opponent building a shovel with the pan and the broom. He's going to be out of stamina and attacking very slow this round, though. I think this is another one to where he's just not going to be able to outpace the banana. And so the banana is going to give us a bit of healing. We got up to 10 poison there at the very end. Nice early game start that we've developed here. Still need to find a bit of direction in terms of what we're going to do, but reasonable start nonetheless. All right, so there's another banana. Happy to pick that up. Go ahead and give this a reroll. And interesting stuff here, and so I'm going to go ahead and pick up the bag. I don't think that's worth really discussing, but the deck of cards is turned up. This is a Reaper-only mechanic that I don't really like. I don't think it's particularly strong, but this does open up a new field of things that you can build towards with the deck of cards. And so basically, they organize like a potion, right? So it has the star on the long end of the card, and then they basically activate in order. So the deck of cards will activate, then the next card in line will activate, then the next card in line will activate, then the next card in line will activate. It makes just a big train of cards running around the screen. I don't think it's strong enough to really warrant chasing down, but it is there. You know, it's a thing you could potentially look to do, and so I'm not going to look to do it. Now, I am quite interested in things like Corrupted Crystal. This is quite strong in the sense that we put a lot of debuffs on the opponent, and it does kind of scale up in terms of giving us bonus health, and so I do want the Corrupted Crystal, but I don't want to sell anything to purchase it, so we'll go ahead and just take the reserve there. We can rearrange our bag just a little bit more. Let's see, we can get these bananas swapped around. Do something like this. I'd like to get the fly agaric up just a little bit more. Maybe... Do we get extra space doing it this way? No. No. Like, ideally, what you're going to have with all of your food is it's going to look something like this, right? As to where we have 1 hex of the food in the coffin and 1 hex out. I guess if we're going to try and line it up like that, like we may land on a space similar to this. The bananas just fit fairly weird in here, right? In the sense that the L-shaped 3 hex doesn't line up as neatly or as nicely as we would like as far as these other spaces are concerned. But that's probably good enough. We'll just leave it as is and just run on in. We should have bought that one gold dust up at the top. That would have fit in our bag, and we could have thrown it at this ranger, but I think it's okay. So how are we holding out here? He's starting to crash us down. I think we're going to scale up and start ramping through. We just got up to 9 poison. The next hit should get the kill. All right. Taking him down. So what do we got? Lots of good stuff here, right? We've got the Corrupted Crystal that we're looking for. The pan turns up. And now this does give us an interesting option, right? I was interested in the crystal just to load up into an armor, so we get that 7 debuffs inflicted gain armor, but you can generate the pandemonium here if you want, which the food activations inflict a point of poison damage, and I think I'm just a little bit more interested in that than the shovel. I'm kind of up in the air as far as food is concerned with the Reaper, in the sense that like the food subclass item isn't that strong, right? It does work with food, it does work with potions, but it's not a kind of like premier build around thing in my book. And I feel like taking the pandemonium really kind of forces you down that route. And so I'm not amped about it, but let's just go ahead and give it a try this round. See if we can make something interesting happen with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and sell the broom. I'm not super interested in that anymore. It's kind of its time has kind of come and gone, right? I would have loved to have had it early and been able to use it to generate a bit of early game economy. It didn't come together. Whatever. Let's just move on. So we're going to generate this food item. That's kind of cool. We want to keep our foods sticking out to the right. On board with that. Let's see here. We can get the onions up The onion, that's not a great spot for it. We got to get all these bananas in here. We've got all this space. We got to make them fit in here somehow. Like, just putting the banana up here to the top left doesn't really do it for me. I don't think that's any better, though. I guess it's the... Gotta be like this. That seems a little better. I would prefer the banana to be out to the right so it gets more activations. It's kind of a nice healing thing, but I don't think we're going to get there. Alright, is what it is. Battle time. Quite a bit of heal on the old Berserker. It's always worrisome with the Berserker. It seems like you're really starting to get ahead and you're doing good work, and then the Battle Rage activates and you're like, oh fuck. here comes the real damage. And so there's the Battle Rage. You can see that yellow activator around it. It does give us time to scale up, but wasn't enough time to actually get the finish in there. Boomed us down right at the end. All right, so now at this point, like, I think I'm on board with just going for food, right? It seems like the way that we're going to be taking this run. I'm very interested in the stone skin potion. Again, we pointed out the stone armor earlier. Your stamina usage goes up, but that's not the biggest deal because we're not really a combat-based type unit, and we're only going to have that pan out there anyway, so it's not like we're running out of health or running out of stamina. So it works in that sense. The same thing with the stone helm. It reduces the damage taken, and you gain a bunch of armor, but you attack slower and stuff. And so I'm happy enough to start adding these stone potions in, because it's just going to be on theme with what we're trying to do. So we do want to keep in mind we're going to be going for food. We're also going to be kind of looking towards potions if we can. And so nice pickup here. The leather armor is exactly what we want with the stone skin potion. We're not going to have the money to pick it up this round, but we'll definitely get it next round. But I think we're probably due for a bit of bag rearranging here. Should be a little bit easier to see this way. So we should be able to do something like this, fully activate the one slot items to the left, and then everything attached up to the Pandemonium. That looks good to me. Then up at the top here, let's get a little bit more item loaded up onto the Fly Agaric. We can put the Stone Skin Potion in. It's not going to activate, but it feels a little bit better when it's involved in the battle, right? That's got to make it stronger. It's like the way I describe, turning cards prismatic in video games. It doesn't actually do anything in the sense of making it stronger, but it makes it feel better, right? If you're going out on a date, you're going on a job interview, you got your good outfit on, you're looking good, your tie's on crisp and shit, and that's just one less thing to worry about. And so that's what it does with the Stone Skin Potion, right? You get it out here, it makes it feel better about itself. It knows that it's out here doing the good work, and so glad that we can help its day. All right, let's get it loaded up here. It's going to be a bit of an awkward round in the sense that it takes a lot of space for the leather armor. We don't have a great spot for the Stone Skin Potion, and so we can't completely load up our coffin, but I think this is still okay. Could maybe move the this bottom right bag up to the top and fit something else in. Is that worthwhile? It's like it's kind of one of the bummers of the game to me, in the sense that you have to do all of this rearranging work and just have it go away. But I don't know. Maybe something like this is better. At the end of the day, the stuff that I really care about is shit. Oh, god damn it. God damn it. I think I can do this fast. Like I say, the thing that I really care about is making sure that we have full food onto the Pandemonium. Oh god, I thought I just did it again. I thought I did it twice, messing that up, but all right, that should be a little better. Just hit the battle button, get me out of this thing. All right, so what do we have from our opponent here? Very stamina-heavy build from them. Not quite sure what they're trying to do with the Razor Lash and then a mana dagger and stuff. I think we should just crush this battle. They're up to almost 30 poison to our 7. Felt pretty good. All right, continue on. And so good stuff. We got another bag, right? That's the place where I feel like we're really hurting, is just getting bag space in this round. Now we've got a corrupted crystal as well. Gonna have to watch this out. I don't want to make the Cap of Discomfort. Like, it's not bad, right? You reduce the damage taken, your opponent gains a buff, you get a chance to break it, and then you reduce their healing. I'm still just more interested in the Stone Helm, to where you reduce the damage taken. That's what they both do. Prevents crits, prevents stuns. But if we come in and get a shield, stacking the shield on all of these stone items gives us a big ol' boost of armor. Shields also work with garlic, and so we'll see if that turns itself up. But we're probably due for another rearranged to get this banana on board. Let's just keep it like that. Is that... God. I don't want to. I want to get... It's like, I know the Cap of Resilience out here is just not really doing anything. Maybe this is how we can do it, right? We can at least get the additional banana within the bin. Okay. Battle. What is this? Oh, a vampire potion. A melee mage, if you will. She just blasted it. She just dealt that damage huge. I think those spears are very problematic. Most of the spears do something in terms of armor shred, and fuck, I did not mean to make the Cap of Discomfort. We should have stopped that from locking. But no, they do armor shred, and we tend to have a ton of armor with the stone armor and the like. And so here, yeah, like I'm planning on just building up the cauldron. Again, it does trigger on food and potions, and so we're going to have to get some of this potion stuff into the mix. It's not my favorite build around kind of thing, because it, like, the ability just isn't that strong, right? Heal for 10, gain 3 mana, or the flame thing to make your stuff trigger faster. Like, it's very centered on the potions, and so, like, I'm just not, like, really excited about it. But these other things don't tie in that well. Like, the Venomancer is just the strongest item here, but we'll just take this route with the cauldron. Just be salty about it the whole time. And so, all right, coming out here, we did find a bunch of potions. That's going to be useful. We'll have to figure out a way to get space for everything here as well. So I would like to have the cauldron, you know, barely within the coffin. Let's just rearrange it all. We're just gonna we're gonna need another redo here. So what I'm kind of looking at, so we'll want the cauldron kind of like this, right? We're gonna want it off to the edge, and then we're gonna need 2 spaces to the right of it to hold a bunch of potions. And so I think we kind of want to start our bag like this in terms of our unit placement here. All right, so that's point number 1 that we're going to try and pull off, right? We'll try and load up this right side of the screen with just potions. So that's okay. Now we need to get our pandemonium over here to the left, and then I'll want to again activate all of these things with foods. And so we'll get a little bit of food to the left. I'm trying to think if there's, like, we probably just need to use these singles to get those activations where we want. Right, so now we're not really missing out on any spaces. Here comes our good item. Sure with that. We're gonna have to move that thing down here so we can fit in the banana. Okay, I'm on board. So we've done good up to this point. The last remaining kind of problem here is going to be fitting our stone armor in. We're gonna have to figure out something with it. Let's see if we can't pick up a bag. Well, we're gonna take the demonic flask. That's not gonna happen. Running out of space. All right. Just gonna be nasty. It's gonna be nasty. Ooh, I don't want a mana potion. Alright, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get, right? The place we're running into problems now is just bag space. But I think this is a decent start. I like the direction that this is going to start going. We have decent armor to prolong this out. We have the Pandemonium hitting 3 food. We'll get that up to 5. The Cauldron is about surrounded. We'll get that sorted out as well. And then we've decided that, we're going to load up the right side of the screen with potions. Won't take too long to get that going. Okay, so the idea is good. There might be something a little bit more optimal. If you want to sit around and min-max that, feel free to. But I think this is a good start. Going up against more of a kind of grindy berserker here with the Steel Goobert. Still got a ton of armor. Like, it seems like we should be doing okay. We're getting a bunch of scaling. He's not really dealing any damage, and these poison debuffs are just going to keep stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking, and so it's just going to depend on how much burst he can do right at the end of the day. Not enough. Okay, coming together. And so we got our Demonic Flask. There's a bag. Exactly what we need. Don't want the melee items. The Holy Armor, not super interested in. I do like this this stone armor in this build. We'll pass on the customer card. You had opportunity to pick up a customer card earlier and didn't take it. That might have been a bit of a sloppy mistake as well, but you know what they say, man. It is what it is. All right, so that looks reasonable now. Starting to get a little bit better lineup over here for our potions. Let's see if is there enough space to fit some stuff in here like this. Like, we can arrange this way. Gets us one more star on the Pandemonium. The Fly Agaric isn't that important in terms of the poison that it deals. The thing that we're really wanting is we want our fastest food down here on the Pandemonium so that it just activates the poisons faster and faster. So it's a 4, a 3.5, a 5, and a 5. Not a ton we can do about that. I guess we should get like the Cauldron involved with it. Like, I'm not certain if losing out that 1 star from the Pandemonium to get the faster Cauldron in there is better or worse. Just not. I would have to be told. I'm not doing the mathematics on that. But it's still coming together nicely. I like where this is going. We've got good food. We've got good defense. We're starting to level up the potions. We know the direction we need. It's going to be potions, and we need bags, and more stone armors would be good. I like what's happening. I think we're doing well. The thing I think is worth noting here is we are building up a ton of mana and not actually using it, right? That's the big buff resource that I'm seeing that hasn't been really used at this point, right? So in this battle, we got up to 22 mana and just did fuck all with it. And so maybe something will turn up with that. Like, there's things like the Glowing Crown to make us invulnerable that could potentially work. But I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that. Now, big pickup here in the Death Scythe. If we want to pick it up, again, the starred items inflict double poison damage. And so, like, the stamina loss from the Pandemonium and the Death Scythe isn't that big. And then we should be able to take it and I think you can get it in a space like this, right? If we shift up the Pandemonium 1, you can get the Pandemonium and all of the food in there. So we're gonna have to do another rearrange. Welcome to the rearrange. We can do a little something like that. Oh, the Cauldron doesn't. Oh, it's not a food. That's why it doesn't activate the Pandemonium. Gotcha. All right. So here's one thing. I think need to be in the space like this. I think that's going to get us where we want to be. So we'll still have room for our potions over to the left. We could look to put the Death Scythe within the coffin, but that's what you would typically do, but we're gonna have a bunch of food in here this time, and so I think we want to get the Pandemonium. Now I do like having these little berries in front. Gives us a lot of activation opportunity in there. And coming over here, we're not going to have the cauldron within the coffin. It's just giving up on too many spaces, I think. We do something like this. And we can come in and bring in these other guys. Where's that good? Does that look good, right? We got all of the stars on the Pandemonium. It's getting doubled by the Death Scythe. I'm pretty certain the Death Scythe... I'm not certain, I guess I should say, if it activates on the coffin itself, right? When you see when we do this, it does line up on top of the Fly Agaric, but it doesn't do it on the other ones. And so maybe we do need to actually come in and purchase this other Fly Agaric to make it work with our comp. We can do something like that so they're getting double activated. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Bear with me as we fight through. All right, so now we got our potions activated. Here's a nice space down here for our Cap of Discomfort. As it stands, we have 6 bag slots for the stone armor, but I'm not rearranging everything. And so there might be a way to make this work out, but I'm gonna tread on. We're probably gonna get annihilated this round. Losing out on our armor is a pretty big deal, but I'm not rearranging, and so this is top tier Masters level strategy, huh? You just go, fuck it, I'm not rearranging. Looks like we're still smashing anyways. Get out of here. Get out of here, weak-ass vampire. Alright, good stuff. Good stuff. And so, let's see how we go from here. Now, we did pick up this bag. We can clean up a little bit of our mess. Do stuff in this kind of fashion. Let's actually... We can come back to this. We've got this entire bottom row that we're going to want to clear out, but... I don't think it's quite, we're quite ready for that. Let's just roll again. I don't really want the stone skin potions. It's good to put on the armors, but I'm really just interested in more bag space at the moment. These don't really fit the theme. Here we go. Here's a potion belt. Now, one of the things I'm kind of curious about is... how we want to handle these pestilence flasks. One of the things you typically do is you just load them up right in front of the Pandemonium and you just blast your opponent for a bunch of poison right out the gates. But you're typically not, or you put it in front of the Death Scythe, but you're typically not building around Pandemonium. And so it's a little different there. It's a little awkward, but I think we'll make it work. All right, so I like where we're at in this sense. Here's where we can start, and we can talk about what's about to come up. And so I think this is a good space to be in, right? So what we're going to look to do the remainder of the way is we'll just fill up this right side of the board with potions. I would like to get as many pestilence flasks as we can. That's going to be our big activator in terms of that. I'm happy to pick up these corrupted crystals and put them onto our stone armor. And then I wouldn't be opposed to picking up another stone armor or picking up a shield, the shield giving you a bunch of amped up armor from the stones. And technically, if we put the stone or the shield across the top of the coffin, we could activate on these garlics as well. It's more important in the early game than the late game, but gives us a bit of opportunity. And so I'm going to lock in both the potion and the crystal, move into the next round. I think we're getting in a good space here. What is this? The food mage. The food mage and the warlock food mage. And so the fire food or the poison food, which one are you coming out for? Dad got him up to 64 poison at the end. Cruising right along. Feels good. Feels good. So yeah, let's get the crystal. Put it in the armor. We'll get the poison flask. I want to get it upgraded. Why isn't our demonic flask picking up the poison on it? Right, when you see our flask, when we move the poison flask down, you can see the purple stuff on top indicating that the second part of the poison is going to happen from it. You don't see a green thing. Maybe there's a little bit of green at the top of the strong demonic flask. I'll just assume that there is. Alright. Another berserker. Bringing the thunder now, though. He's got a bunch of runes, Jesus. Blasting him for 50 poison right at the end when he hit that battle rage. I saw the battle rage kick off and he didn't just immediately annihilate our health total. I think that felt pretty good. And so here's what we haven't shown in the previous videos as we've been explaining along. You have the choice here, right? You can either take the win, get the plus 13 MMR, or you can continue on to where if you lose out early, you're only going to get plus 5. If you make it to the end, you're going to get plus 24. Let's take it to the end. We're doing good here, right? We've only lost one round at this point. Very strong. And so continue onward and upward. All right, another potion belt I'm on board with. Gotta find the space for it, but it'll make its way in. What else do we got here? I'm not opposed to the Jinx Tequila, whatever the actual pronunciation of this thing is. The starred items trigger faster. It works fantastically with the food. Like all of this food that we have lined up on the Pandemonium. It's just a great target for this thing, and so I think I want to pick it up as well. We'll have to do a bit of rearranging to try and make everything fit here, but I think we have the space for it. I'm just going to go ahead and sell this banana so we don't have to deal with it anymore. We can put more potion belts out this way. Probably not going to be exactly lined up the way we want, but you see we're getting quite a bit of bonus in here. It's hitting at least 2 of the food in this space. It's hitting the onion way down at the bottom right. Just let us activate all of those foods faster and faster. And so let's build up towards that. Is that how this guy needs to go? I have the space for it. we can face it this way. We can point it way out to the left side of the map where it doesn't actually hit anything. This is gonna be annoying. And I don't want to come in and just rearrange everything again. We're one hex short. I'm just gonna leave it up here at the top for a moment. Otherwise, are we reasonably happy with how this stuff looks? Like, we could probably rearrange something down here at the bottom. Like, having these double stacked... Maybe that's the way we do it. We'll stack this way. This will put the cauldron under the fanny pack, which is kind of useful. Fanny pack doesn't do anything with this helmet, but I'm not going to rearrange it anymore. Top tier strategies from Bust. I'm just not going to arrange it. Oh man, I missed that. I didn't realize our health potion wasn't upgraded yet. Let's get that up and running out here. And then was that all the work that it took? We're still just like a little bit short in terms of... We want him to face this way, but we need one more hex up here. Fuck. Alright. You've got me, game. I'm gonna do it. we have to put forth at least one play like we're trying, huh? Alright. Alright, our potions are looking right in the right order. We got our bird. This is just the answer, isn't it? We have this fucking thing up here. God damn it. I'm glad I noticed it, right? But it's just a better space for it all around. God damn it. Alright, bird, there you go. We're kind of free to just move you wherever you want. I think we want it here. We want it activating on our fly agarics, but look at that. The bird coming in, doing the work, making these items go faster. Okay. That took a while. It took a while to get there, but we figured it out. No, he's got the deck of cards. No Black Lotuses, no Balatros. They've put those in the game. We can pull them up after the battle. You see, oh, we lost the round of the deck, but you can see how it kind of goes. It starts down here with the deck of cards. After 2 seconds or so, that activates and you get the Fool. The Fool does something, and after it activates, it goes to the Ace of Spades. After that activates, it does something and goes up to the Lovers, and it just goes all the way around. Oh, there's the Black Lotus, the Darkest Lotus in here. And so it all comes in and activates that way. Doesn't strike me as being the challenging portion of his, or the strong portion of his run, though. Maybe it is. He's got the old Yu-Gi-Ohs, the white eyes blue dragons out here. Alright. Alright, well. Next round. We'll see if we can't recover. So let's see. I kind of like some of this, right? I don't want heroic potions. I guess we are kind of running out of stamina at this point, but it's just not particularly relevant. The thing I was interested in here is the glowing crown. We do have a lot of issues this round with having just a ton of mana. And so hopefully that will let us activate, spend some of the mana, just buy us a little bit more time in terms of activating this stuff. He's got a lot of poison resist out here. Gotta say, I don't approve of that. That's what the poison ivy does. Yeah, gives you the chance to resist poison based on your nature items. Still not enough though, bro. Not enough. Alright, so what do we got here? You can't go for the double Death Scythe. I don't think that's really in the cards here. We just don't have the bag space for that kind of nonsense. We can't take this bag though. Go for the second glowing crown. It seems kind of reasonable to me. Nothing else to really build towards here. And again, we're just getting that fuck ton of mana. And so getting 4 seconds of invulnerability isn't that bad. So I'm on board with that. Let's move on. We should switch these crowns around though. We can get double activations on the bags. What's this? The big the high health mage. You'll see him shoot up to like 600, 700 health with this build. We getting him? Nope, a little short. Got up to 73 poison, but he scaled a little bit too hard. Sad day for us. Alright, so we got those sorted out. Anything interesting here? I mean, we could pick up another food or something to put out here to the left. We do need to fill out these spaces. Ideally, I think we would be a little bit more potion-centric. Why hasn't this health potion ever upgraded? God, we didn't put the... just left it locked the whole time. Fucking fine. That should be fixed now. What else do we got? Kind of want to get this Agaric down here. Give us a chance to just get a little bit more activations on our stuff. Alright, moving on. Bag. At this point, we got another armor. I think that's what we would like to build towards. I think getting kind of double stacked in armor would be good. We might have seen one shield. I don't quite remember if that turned up or not. But let's at least get the 4th potion in here. That'll activate both of our bag belts. The debuff potion, we haven't seen a lot of Reaper at this point, but maybe it'll be good enough. It's just kind of very high rolly, right? The debuffs typically don't come from something like the Berserker. It's full of cheese. He's got his Excalibur. He's got his 4 cheeses. He's going to go very high health in this one. We'll have to see if our poison can't outscale the health gain. How high is it gonna go? he's definitely beating us down here. He got up to 1,300 health. Dang, son. That's a big number. I did the mathematics on that one. That's a big number. So let's see what we can do here. Again, I want to get this leather armor on board. We're lacking in bag space is our kind of break point. Not certain if there's anything to really do about it other than dig for more bags. We have a space up here on top of our potions to actually fit the leather armor, but if we want to get the armor and the upgrade, we need 8 slots. Like, I'm kind of fine pulling out the glowing crowns. But I think that we're probably just gonna miss. I'm not certain how many rounds are even left at this point. Lots of clovers coming at us. These tend to pop off when they hit 20 clovers. That's when the mega clover activates. He's a little bit short of that, but he's still giving us a solid beatdown. You're getting crushed in here in the upper level. That's okay though. That's okay. Let's just look for bags. What do we got? A potion belt? I mean, it gets us close. Let's let me see how quickly we can rearrange and potentially get this to fit. I guess we'll take it. It's just what we need. There's the one that actually fits. But we can get that thing up top. We can get the stone potion on it ready to upgrade. I think that we're a round short. I think that we're incoming on the final round of the game. But it's gonna be okay. I feel all right about it. Up against another poison-y friend. This poison's it's scaled up way higher than ours did at the beginning. He's got the snake to help. We have a little bit more health, but his poison's getting up way higher than ours. Curious how it would have gone if we had the one more round to potentially activate that stone armor and have two of the friends out there. But nonetheless, not a bad run. I think it's a pretty good intro into the Reaper, not the Warlock, it's the Reaper. And in terms of what it's capable of doing here, we hit on a few of the topics in terms of the builds. All of the builds, for the most part, do tie into poison in some way. But not necessarily all of them. Just the majority of them are going to be very poison-centric, and I think we got to really drive that home, show some of the non-combat based battles that you can get into with this kind of thing, and one of the ways to really kind of ramp up in terms of what you can do with the Reaper. With this run in particular, I feel like we wanted to be potion-centric, and the potions didn't really turn up. I think that we saw maybe 3 or 4 poison potions along the course of the run and only took one of them. A couple of those being there at the very end. You would ideally have a minimum of 4. And so you just get that big burst of high damage poison right at the start. And I think that that's where this was lacking. But nonetheless, it's a nice place to build off of. Hopefully that's a good primer to the Reaper. And that is going to do it for us today. So I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bustin' Me. Thank you for being here.